Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? Happy Tuesday. God is still good in the new year. And I just wanted to come on and for a short while and just share with you some things about, being a role model and being a mentor to your children and grandchildren and not shielding them when it's time to tell the truth. It's time to tell the truth. We see a lot of young people and we see women that they're looking for the next flowing hair or the next eyelashes or the next multicolored long fingernails or the next style or the latest style. And we really should be encouraging, what are their gifts? What are their skills? What can they do? Encouraging education, encouraging knowledge, encouraging them to know what to look for in a relationship, what to settle for and what not to settle for, and and so that they don't go out and make you know the mistakes that we continually see with children out of wedlock and men not in their children's lives, and then we see like the young men looking for the next come up off of rapping and are either gang banging or shooting and killing one another. There are times that we have to have hard conversations with our children. And as they grow up, we have to know when to step the parenting aside and become the mentor and have these conversations with our children. And then when we see our children in relationships, because we know that we can't hold their hand throughout life forever. So we need to get to know the families of the family of who they're dealing with and what structure did that person, that individual have, and what have they been exposed to. Because sometimes, and this is real talk, sometimes parents can be toxic because they've lived a life of toxicity and they haven't made any significant changes. So your children don't have a role model, a positive or a good role model. So they develop what they see. And I've said this before, that children are a product of their environment, but it doesn't have to stay that way. So how can we become more mentors and helping young people and to make better decisions and to be about change for the good and to teach them to pursue positive avenues, to accept information and not get upset and want to block you and denounce you and come back and attack you for being on the up and up. And then when we have conversations with other adults that don't want to hear the mistakes that they've made, and they get mad and they get angry, and we've seen it so much on social media, and I'm sure you know some very familiar people that have gotten angry when you questioned them about their actions and their behaviors and decisions that they've made in their own children's lives, and they get so angry and they bypass the questions that you're asking, and they never answer the question. So it's hard to get to the root of the problem if you have adults that have made bad decisions in their children's lives and they refuse to acknowledge those poor decisions that they've made. And could it be that they had poor role models in their own lives? And so therefore it spreads over into their children's lives. And now you have young adults that are trying to protect the bad behaviors of their parents, the bad role modeling or mentorship that they didn't get, or if it was not acceptable mentorship, but they took on that role, and now they're on social media trying to protect their parents' decisions. And so therefore they're in this cycle, and some of them are looking for the next best thing, and how fast can I make money, and the money that they're making, because it's fast money, they're gonna have to keep moving to the next fast money game or the next popular thing, because once the fast money you're no longer making fast money off of something that was popular. Now you're running to the next popular or fast money making idea. And then when that runs out, you're on to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And that's what happens. You see a lot today with young children, or even some that we've seen, and they won't let it go. And instead of being encouraged to admit their mistakes, and instead of accepting that their parents failed them on so many levels, and willing to make a change, willing to forgive themselves and confess and realize that I'm on the road to perdition. I'm on the road to, destruction. I'm on a road that's not going to take me very far for long. I'm going to age quickly, and I'm going to eventually have a nervous breakdown because I'm trying to cover up things that my parents did or didn't do for me. And now I'm walking in the same shoes and steps that they are, and I'm showing the same patterns and behaviors that my parents shown me. And so I'm not willing to listen to others. I'm just willing to keep going along with false narratives and keep going along with bad role modeling. And I'm not willing to see where they failed me and I'm still failing, because I'm not willing to listen to the truth, and I'm not willing to listen to where I could make some significant changes. And so we as parents or role models, as parents, have to learn to shift, to, become that mentor for the mentee. And we have to see ourselves and the decisions and choices that we made. And then we have to be able to still be that parent or mentor to our grown children. I would say more of a mentor. We're still going to be their parent, but a mentor. And ask them when they get involved in relationships, talk to both of them, be respectful so that they can share some things, and don't make them feel bad when they come to you and say, this is what's going on in my life. And I know that you might have wanted the best for me, but these are the things that I saw you do. And so I'm doing them. And as parents, we have to be able to accept that and not get angry and not attack our children when they tell us when we're wrong. And so when I look at the overall big picture of coming into the new year, I always want to ask people and put it out there, and even for myself, what changes are we going to make? What changes can we make that will be a positive effect and a positive change on others, whether it be our friends, families, or even young people? And what can we do that's going to impact and influence young people so that they can make better choices and decisions? And are we willing to accept feedback when we've made decisions that were less than acceptable or weren't popular? Because if your decisions are not popular and it harmed them, there's a reason for that too. But there are decisions that are not popular that are for the best for the children, and they will see that in the long run. So I want to be clear, because there are some decisions that sometimes are made that are not popular, but they're not good decisions. Because most of us, when we look at popular decisions, it's got to be for the good of the family. It's got to be Christ-like. It's got to be the order of the family and what God has already ordained and established for us. Now, those should be popular decisions, but they're not a lot of times, because people want to do things their way and not the way that God has already ordained them. And then you have these decisions that are not so popular, but they're for the good. So I just want to be clear on that, because some decisions are popular and they're not for the good, and some decisions are popular and they're for the good. But I wish that people will see the order of family and what God has already ordained for us as a popular decision, And there's a lot of people that don't want that. They want fast money and easy things, and they're looking for the next come up and off of a young man. And if the man can't buy him a Apple phone or the longest weave flowing and get their nails done, multicolored fingernails and eyelashes and the next person and all this other stuff, they're looking for that. When it comes to women, young women, and how they can come up off a man, and if they can't, they're upset. But shouldn't we be teaching our young women how to bring out the best in them and their skills and the gifts that God has given them, and education and teaching them awareness and what is right, and teaching them things that they can take care of themselves and be aware of things on how to live their life in a more excellent way? And then the young men, teaching them that it takes hard work and it takes patience and kindness and endurance, teaching them those things, and that and as for young people, that everything's not going to be easy, and parents are not going to be perfect. They're going to make mistakes, but we want to be a part of your life. But there are times we got to shift and become the mentor and let you see things for what they are. And will you make mistakes? Will you fall down? Will you may get your heart broken for the very first time? But it's okay to come to your parents and to talk about things. Let the children come. Talk to them. Mentor them. Don't curse them out. Love on them. But be truthful. Teach them the ways of Christ. Bring up a child. Raise up a child in the way that he should go. That they shouldn't depart from it. Keeping it real. Having real talk. And if we want to do better in the new year, in this 2021, we have to be willing to accept information. We have to be willing to have those crucial conversations, those critical conversations that will eventually make a difference. When I look back over my life, I thank God where my son, Mom, I learned from you. I thank you for all the teachings that you've taught me. I wasn't a perfect parent. I didn't know everything about Christ's word, and I still don't. But I tried to continue to be a good role model and to be a mentor when needed. And to ask God for discernment, because when stories are shared, I don't want to take over, but I want to be able to be that good mentor, to step back, but to give some good information that's going to help my son continue to grow and be the wise man that God expects him to be, and respectful and loving and making right decisions and choices, and to elevate and level up. And those are the things that we can reach the young people and teach them to level up, to elevate yourself, to make better decisions, to be the best you. Because if you're going to be in a relationship with anyone, and this is for young people, you got to be the best you. You got to level up and elevate, because you want to be the best, to have the best for the person that you choose to be with, and to be responsible and not reckless, and to protect yourself. Women, protect yourself. Young men, protect yourself. And I mean, all the way around, protecting yourself. And knowing that if you're not prepared to bring children in this world, why? It will not hold on to a man. It will not hold on to a woman in the right way. Most of these holds, when you've gotten pregnant, or you've tried to impregnate someone and it went through and you succeeded, doesn't necessarily mean that these holds are good holds. And I'm talking about HOLDS, these strongholds, holds like that. Doesn't mean that they're good holds just because you were able to have a baby by a man. They can turn toxic. Because if it's not in agreement, you're not on the same level, on one accord, a lot of times these children suffer in these relationships or situationships. Situationships is what usually happens. Situationships. Because people have gotten together and have made choices that weren't for the best for each other. And now you have a child that you have to bring up and co-parent. And there are some children, young people, not children, but young people, young adults that haven't put away their pride and selfishness to do the right thing and make the right decisions. And so these are hard conversations that we have to have. And I know everyone is not going to agree or believe in Jesus Christ, but he established it way back in Genesis. And your morals and values is different from having a relationship with Christ. But sometimes it takes some parents and some adults, it takes some time to level up and elevate your game. But you got to be a team player in the game. If you've never learned to be a team player in the game, eventually your game will fail. And let me say that again. If you've never learned how to be a team player, a good team player, eventually your game will fail. So as mentors, mentoring to mentees, as parents with children, as parents with adult children, we got to be good parents, good role models, because they're looking at us. They're modeling what we do. And they see. They hear, but they see a lot and retain what they see. A lot more, a lot of times, than what they hear. And we got to learn how to shift when it's time to shift, to make the changes necessary, to be the best us, the best we, for our children, whether they're babies, teenagers, or young adults. And we never really stop being a parent. As long as we have children, we never stop being a parent. But it's how we parent that's going to make the difference. But we also have to recognize our shortcomings and choices we've made and apologize for those bad choices. And to move better and to grow and to continue our learning. Because a good team player is always willing to learn. A good team player looks out for the team and not for themselves. It's not about yourself being on a team, but also when you look out for yourself and take care of you, you're able to take care of others. Because we can't neglect ourselves and then expect to be able to take care of others if we don't know how to take care of ourselves. So with that being said, if we as parents haven't been those good role models and haven't taken care of our children the way we should, then we got to level up and elevate our game. And I want to thank my brothers for being good role models. And I want to thank them for elevating and leveling up their game to be the best they can be for their children. And if you have family members or people you know that have elevated and leveled up their game, and they're doing big things and positive things in their children's lives and role models, and they're taking care of their families and their spouses and loved ones, shout out to them. Tell them thank you. We need more people leveling up and elevating. We need more parents leveling up and elevating, and mentors leveling up and elevating. And if you was once a mentee and you're able to be a positive role model, we need you. God wants to do a new thing in 2021, but he wants to use his people to do it. But we got to be willing to accept consequences for choices we made, and willing to make a commitment, willing to be there, willing to make a change, willing to start small, willing to accept criticism, willing to apologize when we're wrong and confess our sins and forgive, willing to get back in the driver's seat, willing to take a chance on Christ, to take a chance on love, to take a chance on doing the right thing. We have to be willing. We got to be willing. We have to be willing. And if you're in the driver's seat, willing to help someone else learn how to drive. God bless you all. Peace on today.